Namaskar friends. I'm going to talk about a very important yoga which is called as the Pravajya yoga, or the yoga for being an ascetic, or the yoga for being a sannyasi. So the combinations which I'm going to discuss with you could be found in many charts, but this really does not mean that you are going to renounce the world and run into the jungle. This means that you may be living the life of a normal worldly person, but still practice spirituality to the core. So you need not worry and you need not think that you are going to become a sannyasi if you happen to have these combinations, because I have seen various charts of people who are living a normal life of a worldly person, but they still have this yoga. So we will apply these combinations in the charts which I am presenting before you, and you can very well think how this is working in the charts of these people about whose life I will actually talk to you about through this video. So the first combination which Sarvat Chintamani talks about is that the person should be having a sign in his Rashi chart, in the Lagna chart, which is having 4 planets. Any house having 4 planets comprises of a sannyas yoga. And if the 10th house or the 10th lord is involved in this, it means that the person will actually practice sannyasi, or you can say asceticism to the core. So the 10th lord should be one of the 4 planets which is present in this sign where it talks about the sannyas yoga or the pravajya yoga. So the involvement of the 10th lord in this combination will actually tell that the person will not prefer to marry and would want to live the life of a yogi. But if the 10th lord is not there, then the person may marry but still prefer to live the life of a yogi. So this is the fine discrimination which you can find out in the charts which you are trying to see. Now, the another thing to keep in mind with this combination is that the dispositor or the sign lord where these 4 planets are placed, the sign lord should be placed in any houses other than the Kendra or the trines, because these are very strong houses, the Kendras and the trines. So there the dispositor should not be present. It can be present anywhere other than the Kendras or trines. So this is the first combination which it talks about. The second combination that the Sarvat Chintamani talks about is of planet Moon sitting in the Drishkana of planet Saturn. And Saturn should be aspecting planet Moon, or Saturn should be sitting with planet Moon. So if Moon is making a combination with planet Saturn in the Drishkana chart, then also it indicates a Pravajya yoga. The third combination which Sarvat Chintamani talks about is that Saturn in the Rashi chart should be either aspecting the ascendant, or ascendant should be aspecting Saturn. So there should be a connection between the ascendant lord and planet Saturn in the Rashi chart or in the D1 chart. So this is the third combination which Sarvat Chintamani talks about. The fourth combination should be seen in the Navamsha chart. In the Navamsha chart, if planet Moon is sitting in the sign of Saturn and Mars is aspecting Moon, then it comprises of this yoga. Another thing that could happen in the D9 chart is if Moon is sitting in the sign of Mars and Saturn is aspecting this Moon, then it is another combination for the yoga of a sannyasi. So these are following combinations. Other than that, I want to add that if the trine houses, which are the houses of spirituality, which are the houses of religion, dharam. So if the trine houses, that is 159, they are connecting to each other through their lords, then also the person is going to be highly, highly spiritual. So it does matter a lot if the trine houses connect to each other. Now, keeping all these points in mind, we will look into the various charts and we will see how the yoga is working in these charts of the people, which I am going to discuss. So I am going to put the screen on the share mode, and we will talk about these charts. So the first chart is of Mirabai, who was born in the 16th century, and that time it started with the Bhakti movement. So Mirabai was born to a Rajput warrior family, but once, uh, one time when she was very young, she had gone to some temple, and there um, some marriage ceremony was happening. So she happened to ask her mother, who is going to be her husband. So her mother jokingly said that Lord Krishna would be your husband. So since that day, from her childhood, she fell in love with Lord Krishna. And even when she grew up and she was married to somebody else forcibly, she was still deeply in love with Lord Krishna. And all she was doing was singing devotional songs in the praise of Lord Krishna. And there it started with the Bhakti movement. So, despite living the life of a normal married person, she was deeply in love with God, that is the form of God, Lord Krishna. And let's see through her chart what are the combinations. So, you will see that the trine lords are Moon and Mars and Jupiter. So, here Jupiter is sitting in another trine, and the trine lord Mars is aspecting the trine lord Moon from the second house. So all the trines are connected to each other. So this is a very powerful combination. The other combination which is in her chart is that there are 4 planets in the ascendant, and the dispositor of this house, that is Moon, is neither in the Kendra nor in the trine. It is sitting in the 8th house. So this is another combination which shows that the person is going to be deeply spiritual, and the person has a Pravajya yoga. But because the 10th lord is not actually involved here in the combination in this house, so she did not actually renounce the world, but she lived a normal life of a worldly person, but still she was deeply into spirituality. So the combination of Moon in the sign of Mars, but there is no aspect of Saturn here. So this combination is not happening in her D9 chart. So let's look at another chart which is of Swami Vivekananda, who is considered as the master of philosophy, and he was also another person who was deeply into spirituality. And let's see if this combination, if any of these combinations which I just talked about is there in his chart. So first of all, let's look at the trines. So here the trine lords are Jupiter, Mars and Sun. So you will see that Jupiter is aspecting Mars and Sun is in another trine. So all the trines are connected in his chart also. So looking at the D1 chart, we can easily say that the person is very, very spiritual. Now, there are no 4 planets here, and Saturn is also not connecting with the ascendant. So we can ignore that combination. But in the D3 chart, in the Dreshkana chart, Saturn is sitting with Moon, and Moon is in the Dreshkana of Saturn. So again, this combination is being repeated in the Dreshkana. So it again signifies that the person is an ascetic or has lived the life of a saint. Now let's see the third chart, which is of Satya Sai Baba, who was born in the 20th century in the year 1926, and he is considered as a very powerful person equivalent to Lord Shri Sai Babaji. So Satya Sai Babaji is having 4 planets in his ascendant chart. So here the 10th Lord Sun is also amongst the 4 planets which are present in the ascendant. So 4 planets and the involvement of the 10th Lord made sure that he lived the life of an actual ascetic person. He did not marry, and He was considered as one of the greatest saints of the 20th century. And let's see if the trines are connected here. So here Mars is at 13 degrees. So it can be considered as giving the aspect from the previous house, and it is aspecting from the previous house to planet Moon, which is again the trine lord. And Jupiter is another trine lord, which is aspecting the ninth house, another trine house, through its seventh aspect. So here the combination is looking very, very strong. And Saturn is also sitting in the ascendant, which I told you that Saturn should be making some connection with the ascendant. So in his D3 chart, Moon is neither sitting in the sign of Saturn, nor there is any connection of Saturn and Moon. So we can ignore this. But D1 chart is very strongly showing this connection. Now let's look at another chart of a very powerful person who attained enlightenment and who was the guru of Shri Vivekananda ji. So he was none other than Swami Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So he attained enlightenment and he was born in the 19th century in the year 1836. So he is having first of all, the ascendant lord Saturn is sitting in the trine house in the exalted form. And next combination is the trine, the fifth lord, which is another trine. Mercury is sitting in the ascendant. So the trines are connected here, and yeah, the trines are connected here, and there are no 4 planets here. So let's look at the Navamsha now. In the Navamsha, Moon is sitting in the Navamsha of Mars, and it is being aspected by planet Saturn. So it is a very powerful Sanyas yoga. So you saw that in these 4 examples which I just discussed, all the combinations which I told you were being formed, and they are very easy to locate. So the trines should be connected. There should be 4 planets in the Rashi chart, and the dispositor of the planets should not be in the Kendra or in the trines. And also we have to look these combinations in the Navamsha or in the Dreshkona chart. So out of these, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, sometimes even 3 are being repeated in the charts of people. So you need not worry if you happen to have this combination in your horoscopes, because it only means that you will live the life of a saint despite living the life of a worldly person. So friends, this was all about the Pravajya yoga, or the yoga for being an ascetic. I hope you must have liked my video. So do not forget to hit the like button. And if you have not subscribed, please do so now, because I plan to come up with another interesting video very soon. And stay connected, and wish you all a very happy day, friends. Bye-bye.